Hi there YouTube, this is my first video ever. So today I'm going to be instructing you on how to tell what set your cards are from, your MTG cards. So Magic the Gathering is a trading card game, actually the first trading card game ever. Started in 1993 by a man named Richard Garfield. So cards from core sets are sometimes hard to tell apart. So I'm going to tell you how to tell which set your cards are from so that you can accurately tell how much they're worth. Alright, let's start with Magic's Beginnings. Here are a couple of cards, Fear, they're called, from Alpha, the very first printing of Magic. So the way you can tell Alpha apart from any other set is it has black borders, and it has, down there in the copyright, it has the artist name, in this case Mark Poole, but no year, and it does not say Wizards of the Coast. So that's a big difference from later cards. But the main way to tell Alpha apart from any other set is the corners. So those corners are very rounded, and that's intentional, that's not a misprint. That's the way all Alpha cards are. So I'll just show you this card for comparison. And you can see the corners are much more rounded on the Alpha card. So that's how you can tell there. So those are Alpha. Put those to the side. Okay. Beta. This is the only Beta card I could find around. It's a Swamp, signed by Richard Garfield and Dan Frazier, but that's not important. What is important is, so it still has those black borders you can see, and it still only has the artist name, no year. But the way you can tell it apart from Alpha is, if you line it up, take a look at those corners. On Alpha, they're really rounded. On Beta, they're just like every other set printed. So Alpha is the only set with those weird corners. All the other sets are normal corners. Okay, so that's Beta. Now for what is probably the hardest distinction to make. Unlimited versus revised. So these are the third and fourth printings of Magic in question here. So those ones here on the left are from Unlimited, and this is from Revised. Okay, so there are a couple of key differences. First of all, these ones from Unlimited have a kind of a darker ink color, whereas one from Revised looks a little washed out almost. You can probably see the difference there. As you can see, these have white borders, as opposed to the Alpha and Beta, which have black borders. Both sets have the normal corners, and just the artist's name. So that's the same for both of those. So the way that you can tell which set you've got is by looking at the text right here. So if you notice, that word instant just goes to the left of the art box. It goes a little past that. Whereas with Revised, that S in summon is just to the right of there. So it's a little indented almost. So that is the way you can tell that you've got Revised or Unlimited. That's actually the best way to tell, is to see if that text is indented or not at all. And if it is, you've got Revised. If it's not, you've most likely got Unlimited. Okay, so moving on to 4th edition. It gets a little easier, don't worry. So, still no set symbol, which would be right there in later cards. And so we've got white borders, but now the difference is down in the bottom of the card. You've got the artist name, and plus, it's probably too small to read, but it has 1995 Wizards of the Coast, all rights reserved. So if you see 1995 right there, you can't read it on the screen, it's too blurry, but it says 1995, trust me. that means you've got 4th edition. Now, take a look at this card. It says 1997. So it looks almost the same, but if it says 1995, it's 4th edition. 1997, 5th edition. Alright, after that, Wizards smartly decided to start putting set symbols on their cards. And you see the Roman numeral 6. That is 6th edition. Also, at this point, the text at the bottom, instead of being left justified, now is center justified. Just an interesting point to note. Okay, with 7th edition, it's the numeral 7, just the number 7. Otherwise, looks pretty similar, but that's how you tell. Okay, 8th edition, it's got those 3 cards with an 8 on them. That's the symbol right there. And Wizards changed the border. As you can probably see, this is the older border, whereas this is the modern border that's on all cards today. So that's when that switch happened. So that's why some cards look old and others don't, is because of that border. So that's when that happened. And also, if you can see down by the artist, that's when they started putting that paintbrush there, by the artist name. Okay, and now we've got 9th edition. Looks just like 8th edition, except it has a 9 on the cards instead of an 8. So, nothing very exciting there. Okay, and 10th edition is the next set, actually. And it's just the Roman numeral 10, just an X. Otherwise, it looks pretty similar. It has black borders. They went back. See, 9th edition has white borders. Now it's back to the black borders. Okay, Magic 2010 is the next core set. This is when they started coming out every year instead of every other year. So now it says M followed by the number, which is the year it was released. Or actually the year before it was released, but that's another story. And it continues to have black borders. Pretty easy to tell. Okay, Magic 2011, just an 11 instead of a 10. And I'm actually couldn't find any cards from Magic 2012, but anyway, you get the idea. There's Magic 2013. So those are pretty easy to identify once they started putting the set symbols on there. Revised Unlimited is the hard one up there, if you remember. Alright, well, thanks for watching. That is how you tell apart the sets. Hope that cleared things up. Thanks for watching. Check back for more videos.